Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you for staying tuned. This is LTV, and the show is Let's Talk Show. And today we are talking on marriage. And I believe our guest has made very insightful contributions, and you've picked your points already. But there's yet more to discuss. So, Prof, you were talking about the man being the one who was created first, so has the
Mm,
responsibility to show love first.
yes.
And then, as the man shows love, the woman will automatically respect the husband.
Mm,
I love the format. But in this day where women are calling for rights, and the rights of women have now even been put ahead of men, and
mm,
men too are a bit insecure as to really what's the type of woman I'm married to, whether he's willing to me or there's another person somewhere and all that. So, in your view, do you think that there should be really that relationship from the onset before the marriage takes or comes on? Should it be to the extent that there is surety and conviction that this is the choice I'm making out of the many options I have when it comes to the male or the female?
okay, very good. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Clear.
Okay, all right. So this is a situation. You asked a very insightful question. Is this woman or is this man really the one for me? Is he really the man for me? You see, in our language, we say that the head, where is Obed? Is not coming. We in our language we say the head is not a papaya where you can break it into two and know what is inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in order to know what a man is thinking, in order to know what a woman is thinking, that is where we have communication. That is where we have to be able to talk. That is where we have to be able to ask ourselves questions so that all doubts can be cleared. Situations when it comes to like courting, you see, we say courting or dating or whatever that we'll call it. It is all because we want to know certain things. Unfortunately, most people are not asking the right questions,
Mhm.
or they are allowing love to blind them to questions that they should ask. So they are not asking the questions. They are taking maybe a physical attraction. They are taking uh, very a few instinctive situations, and then thinking that everything will work well. Meanwhile, the most important part in a love relationship is actually the mind. If you don't know the mind of the person that you are being attached to,
Exactly.
if you don't know the mind of the person you are being attached to, anything at all can happen. And then uh, you get into a marriage, and then you begin to see that, oh, this one, we don't even think alike. We don't have anything in common. I mean, you ask certain things, and then the person is behaving in a different way. Maybe because initially the attraction is what led to the two of you coming together, but you have to go beyond the attraction
That's
and begin
exactly.
to see the mind of the person. You see, you have to see the mind of the person by asking questions. You see, by having communication. That is what will lead to trust. You see, because then you begin to know how this person thinks, how what sets him off, what is
Yeah.
good, and what is really not good for him. But we go into relationship without knowing all this, without having all this information. You see, and sometimes also while you are engaging the person in that one-on-one conversation, there's also the situation where you can also ask around, because every person in a way is not isolated. People have friends, right? People have friends, people have family, people are related in different types of relationships. Ask around. Like you were saying, in the olden days when marriages were arranged, see that the family was taking that step of looking behind the person that you are going to marry by finding out a few things before they even agree for the two of you to come together. Now we are doing these things on our own, so we have to do the investigation that our forebears or our forefathers were doing before they will bring one family. Because in the olden days, it is not just a man and a woman who are marrying, it is a whole family and sometimes even a whole clan that is marrying. So they want to find out exactly what is going on. Now we are not doing that. So marriages are getting to be shallower and shallower. We get into it and then we don't know, our left from our right. And it brings a lot of conflict. You see that thing? So I would say that why the word of God says that love covers all things, right? Your love has to be such that it will be able to cover all the little faults. But in order for it to be able to cover the little faults, you should have asked those questions. Is it that to know that those little faults are going to come, and then you'll be prepared for them.
Great.
But most of us go into it and then we are not prepared.
Great. Thank you very much. Apostle, do you have any additions?
Yes. At this time, as a young woman, it is indeed many change, because people don't want to be committed anymore, but still deep in the heart that, no, I want this person to be mine. So it is so awkward how things are going in feelings, emotion, and action. Because if you see two-person lover, like the professor said, the things that make us deviate completely from knowing more who you are is because we have sex with each other. And when you come together, you have this relationship with each other, intimate relationship. It disturbs you to see what I need to know more. And then I get immediately into something that I haven't discovered first. Do you understand?
Yeah. So, what you said.
If I take time before I become intimate with him, I will see more things that give me a sign if this the person that I want to enter. He can manipulate me by showing something maybe that I want to see. But still, if you really want me and I really want you, we will fight it and make it become one. Because like I say previously, that is my family I want. That is the one I want to create my family with. So how I am doing it? But like the professor says, once again, we don't seek who I am going to enter my life with. Why? Because we are very fast to become intimate.
Okay, so now Apostle Shama established that marriage is the basis for a family setup. Marriage, through marriage, we are able to build up a family system that grows into a community, that grows into a world. And then Prof also made a point that these days we don't make enough inquiries, and then we quickly love you, let's marry. So now the question then is not asking the right questions. can we say that has become the main factor for which many marriages, instead of expressing love, unity, and understanding, there's so much chaos, there's so much misunderstanding, and the next seconds they are at each other's throats, and then leads to divorce? Can we say that is a major factor? Not having enough time to ask the right questions. Even when we even have the right time, is it that we do not ask the right questions? Can we say that is the main basis for that?
In effect, I would consider that as a big factor. I'll consider that as a big factor because, like I said from the beginning, how would you know the person that is coming into the marriage? They have their own baggage. You are also bringing your baggage into the marriage, right? So on our baggage and baggage, how do we get rid of this baggage? The only way we can do that is to communicate, is to talk, is to be able to ask the question and to be truthful to the answers that we are given. Is it a thing? To the truthful to the things that we are given. But the thing is that there is an easy way of establishing the truth, right? Because like we say, truth is once and it will always be the same thing. It is only a lie that has to be defended.
Yeah.
But when you speak the truth, you don't need to defend the truth. When you are even sleeping and they ask you the same question while they wake you up from sleep, it will be the same answer that you give. It is only when you lie that you want to find a way of trying to establish the lie and to defend the lie and so on and so on. You see that? So if we continue to ask the questions, like for example, some people even hide their status in terms of the fact that they may be dating another person, right?
Yes.
They may be dating another person with the idea that, okay, let me try this, let's see which one works. And then when you begin to ask the questions, then you begin to know, from facial expressions, from body language, and so on and so forth, if this person that you think you want to spend the rest of your life with is actually not forthcoming. It's actually not forthcoming, so that at least you wouldn't have to tie the knot before you begin to see that there's somebody also behind the scene. Is it a thing? So definitely, I would say maybe about 80 to 85%
Beautiful.
of break in marriages is because we never asked the right questions. We never got the right answers. And then we just jumped head in first into the stream when we should have just tested the stream first to be sure that it is not too deep and that we'll be able to swim in it. You see, so I believe we should. And then, this is what I believe those who have already been married should start teaching. You see, should start teaching, because when you are young, you are all hormones and you are ready to just, you look like you are invisible. Like, nothing will touch this relationship. Is it a thing? But I think the older people should begin to advise the younger people the type of questions that they should ask the person that they are interested in, and see the answers that they can get, right? And see the answers that they can get. Maybe we have all made a mistake, especially those of us from Africa, where we have not really engaged our children in terms of this, in things like this. And then they go in, they bring their own thing, and then we bless the marriage, and then they go, and then they begin to give us the problem. Is it a thing? Problems that they could have solved even before getting into the marriage, they didn't, and then they go into the marriage, and then all these things come about. I believe church leaders should start teaching those things, the questions to ask, the nuances, the expressions that you should expect from the woman, what you should expect from the man, the red flags. You see that we should be able to teach all these things so that when they start a relationship and they start asking those questions, they will already know how a red flag looks like.
Yeah.
You see, they will know how a red flag looks like so that they don't fall into the trap. And then later on, then the marriage breaks down. You see that? So I think it is something that we should start teaching. It doesn't have to be just church all the time. Church is good. We come to church, but part of church should be also to teach these things. You see, so that Christians, for us Christians, we have a special mandate where our marriages is till death do us apart, right?
Yeah.
But if that has to do us apart, then we have to have the best marriage. Unfortunately, we are beginning to have even the worst marriage than the people who they don't have to do them apart for them to divorce. So I think we should, start teaching these things. Amen.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
Sorry if I was too
Yeah,
long-winded.
I think your fever has catch up with me. I nearly also caught. Now, you've made very insightful points, which I agree with. Apostle Shama, let me ask you this question. In marriage, what are we marrying? Is it the beauty that we are marrying, or it is character, or status, or money? What is it that we are marrying?
It's 4 or 5 different things.
Mhm.
Because some people marriage for what they can get.
Okay, let me put it in the way. What is that number one thing that makes a marriage successful? For which reason, when you are going to a marriage, who are you marrying? Is it the character of the person, or the beauty of the person, or the money of the person, or the status of the person? Which one stands tall and can ensure success or otherwise of the marriage?
I believe loyalty, because if you are loyal, your
Loyalty.
character will be fantastic.
Mhm.
If I have to see for appearance, I don't think I will choose for that. But unfortunately, some people do that. And then when they do the beauty outside, and then the character is fastigate, then they will feel bad because they haven't looked and discovered with who they will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Some people marriage because they will be settled in life. And of course, they have to do all the requirement to keep maintaining for them to have a good life. So you cannot go specific on it. But I believe if your character is good, there will be understanding. There will be love. There will be submission. There will be all in.
Okay. So to you, character is what we marry, not necessarily beauty. So there's a saying like, your beauty will take you there, but your character will bring you back. So, Prof.
Yes, because if you like, as a woman, if you like a tall man, light color man, full with muscle, and the character is not good, and you find somebody different from what your eyes will see, and he is so adorable, you will go for his character and not the beauty. Because as soon if I have a very handsome man and he have accident, disfigurate, will I stay with him or will I go? If I pursue beauty. As soon if I have a man well settled in his finance and something happened, heart storm came and you don't have, will I go? So what is it exactly that make me have you? If I see your character that I am in love with it, anything happen, anything come, I will keep standing with you.
Great. So it is then important that we need to spend time to discover ourselves,
Discover
know our character wirings, and see whether we are comfortable with this person or not. And not necessarily because the person is handsome, the person is nice, the person has money, the person, those kind of external factors that makes us love. And then we develop emotions attached to it. And then over time, we marry, and then we now still seeing the character of the person. And then now that character starts expelling us away from that person. Now, Prof, what in your view will you recommend when it comes to spending time to know the character of the other person? How important is it when it comes to the success of a marriage or not?
Okay, like as you all have said, I mean, all those other things add up to make a marriage good, right? Money is good. I mean, a beautiful wife is good. A beautiful husband is good. I mean, a handsome husband is good. All those things are good. But then when the character is not good, then like you are saying, it actually diminishes all the other additives. It diminishes all the other additives. We know that love alone is not enough. All right, love covers a multitude of sins, but under love is also character, because when
Okay. I believe Prof will join us very soon. But like we are saying, marriage is a very important and serious institution. And please take time to study your partner. Love will always be there. Love never ceases. But to be able to sustain that initial love you have for that person, the most important